After a promise on Tuesday and a threat on Wednesday, Harry Reid now says today is the day the Senate will vote on extending funding for the Cash For Clunkers program. According to the Majority Leader's office, the Senate will begin debate on 7 amendments to this proposal sometime after 3 o'clock Eastern this afternoon. 6 amendments come from Republicans and 1 comes from a Democrat. Once that debate wraps up, lawmakers will vote. Joining us now is Politico's Manu Raju. He has been following the latest controversy over the CARS program and giving us an insight into what goes on. Manu, good to have you with us today.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, let's talk about the logistics here. Harry Reid wouldn't bring this up unless he is sure he has the votes, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, they have 60 Democratic seats, but 2 of them are sick, Ted Kennedy and Robert Byrd. But they have some Republican support, some from auto states and some like Susan Collins, a moderate from Maine, and probably Olympia Snowe too. So they definitely have the votes. The question is whether he can keep his party united and ensure that none of these amendments gets onto the bill, because of course if it does, it throws the whole program into question because the House isn't there to give final approval, and this would have to wait until September until they got back.
And that's a great point. So we can't expect any of these amendments to make passage because of that. And with the House being out, we wait until after September. That in turn starts the avalanche and at least a 1-month suspension of the program. So no matter what these amendments are, you're saying there is no way they'll get on this bill.
There's almost certainly, unless there's a disaster here, there's a lot of pressure from the White House and from Harry Reid to keep this bill clean. Initially, some of the critics of this program, like Dianne Feinstein and Susan Collins, wanted the program to apply to more fuel-efficient vehicles that are purchased under the CARS program. But those concerns were alleviated this week. The White House made a very aggressive push to get them on board. They assured them that consumers who are participating in this program are actually buying more fuel-efficient vehicles, some 61% increase in mileage standards compared to the cars that they turned in. And that seemed to alleviate the concerns of Feinstein and Collins. They said they're going to go on board with this now, and then, come September, they can make additional tweaks to the program, but they want to keep it going, and that's a good omen for supporters of the program.
Manu, there's a criticism from the left that you just mentioned. That is, they want more fuel efficiency. What about from the right? Because these critics silenced themselves to a large degree this week. Jim DeMint backed off, saying he wouldn't try to throw a wrench in the plans. That came on Monday or Tuesday. Yesterday, Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says this vote is going to go through, indicating essentially a surrender there, that it would pass. What changed their minds? Did they simply not have enough support?
Well, anyone in the Senate can delay these votes as long as they want. I mean, the Senate is a place that operates on unanimous consent. So one senator could object and throw off the whole process.
But here they are choosing not to and being very public in the fact that they're not going to do it. And
it's interesting. I think you got 2 things here. One, they know they don't have the votes, and if they simply delayed this program, they could face a lot of backlash from dealerships back home who want this program to continue. And some consumers who are trying to cash in on this program. But I think that's also secondly, recess forces a lot of senators' hands. They want to go home. They want to go back to their constituents. Why delay the inevitable? Let's get it over with now. So, it's an interesting balancing act they're playing here, because they're saying this money is being spent too fast. Where did this money go? There needs to be accounting for it. But at the same time, the Republicans have decided not to delay it and not to look into where this money went. So I think it has a lot to do with, these guys are starting to smell the jet fumes.
Final question for you, Manu. What a great way to put it, by the way. The Obama administration is huge on this program, as you alluded to. What happens after potentially this $2 billion runs out? What's the next step? Because these senators and the House members who are already in the home districts are going to hear from their constituents who have purchased new cars and are very vocal about the fact that they love this program.
Yeah, it's a very good question, because we don't really know. I mean, the Transportation Secretary said yesterday that once the program runs out, once we're out of money, they're going to report back to Congress, give some more details about what should be done next. They're not promising they're going to come back and ask for more money, and they're saying it'll be done in a less hasty fashion. So it's a question about whether they want to continue the program or whether they're just going to let it simply run out and work as a short-term stimulus.
All right, Politico's Manu Raju joining us now, and Manu, promise to come back once this funding runs out. We'll talk about it again.
That sounds good.
Good to have you with us today.